will. It'll tell you. See?
Yeah, and the only one I don't have is I didn't hear from Brittany. I just texted her. I haven't heard back. But we have enough to get going. All right. So
Okay. It's live.
Okay. It is.
I got 5 people waiting to come in. None of them are Nora, but I will let them all in now. Okay.
Let them all in. So while they're logging in, it is 7:08. And I'd like to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Anybody second it?
Second it.
Kathy, is that you?
Yes.
Order. I'm writing some notes now in case Brittany shows up and is able to start taking over, but till then I'll take notes. All right. So meeting's now in order. So we'll hold off on anything on the voting because I believe, Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, there is no challenge.
Right.
Yeah. So
It's only one person for the jobs that we have. Some of them are still open, but.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we're good for that. So
Oh, there's Nora's name. I see Nora's
Yeah,
name.
Nora,
Nora just
joined.
what she
Nora
said.
just joined.
So we're good.
Hi. Oh, it started.
Hi, Nora.
How are you?
We're all great. We were waiting on you. No, just kidding.
Oh, I'm
Sorry,
writing down names of who's here. Okay. W. Okay. Kristen. Who else on the board? Kim. David. What am I missing? Okay, what I got it. All right. And me. All right. I know Brian's going to join us shortly. And we're waiting on Brittany. I have not seen her yet. So first thing on the agenda is Nancy is not here today. But the treasurer's position is actually going to be voted on today. So for the better part of the past 6 months, David Palmerino has been shadowing Nancy to take over as treasurer. And there's something that the board agreed earlier that will be the case. And now we just have to make it official and vote him in, and he'll be moving away from the equipment manager position. His assistant, Craig Parker, will be the one rolling into that position. So welcome, Craig and David.
Thank you.
We'll put this to a vote. So currently, I just need someone to go ahead and make a motion to have the board accept David Palmerino as the new treasurer of BYSA.
I'll make a motion to appoint David Palmerino as the new treasurer as listed in our bylaws.
Anybody seconds it?
Second.
Any discussions, questions on this? Someone had their hand up? No, that's something's on the chat. I just want to open that up. So
It's Kim. She's going to vote via text. I'll let you know what it says.
okay, perfect. Yeah. Make sure there wasn't something we were missing. All right, so no questions or discussions. Good to go. So first of all, is there any abstentions? other than myself.
And Dave.
And Dave himself, yes. Any no's by board members? So I'll take that as a yes all the way across. So we have 1, 2, 3,
And yes from Kim.
5, 6. Yeah, got it. And all right. The votes are 2 abstains, 7 yeses, 0 no's. It passes. So as of today, David Palmerino is the new BYSA treasurer. And we'll start the paperwork as soon as the minutes are done to go ahead and have him change in the account. That could welcome. Thank you, David, for stepping up with that. So you and me will be in touch to make the changes at the bank to have Nancy be removed from the account. So then you can be put in place, and then we'll start working on the budget and everything else we got to do with what we have. And we'll be working with Kevin as well. I think this is a good opportunity for us and new fresh eyes to look at everything. And just so you guys are aware, there is an audit that's going to be performed. That's always the case. When the treasurer leaves, another one comes in, an audit is performed, and we will discuss that in the meetings going forward later on.
Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you,
Welcome to your
Kathy.
new hat.
All right.
I just have a 20-minute speech. Hold on. a second.
Ah,
We'll make it
We'll
2
play the
minutes.
music.
congrats, Dave.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
You'll
you.
regret it.
So the next item on the agenda that I have is coaches selections update. Bob, I know we voted as a board.
Yep.
We a proxy on this one as to what was what the selections were, and I believe did you reach out to all the coaches that were selected, Bob?
Yeah, we, as of right now, we have coaches that have accepted the position. We actually have some coaches, our parents have stepped up that are going to potentially assist. We're gonna kind of make the matches in 2 or 3 instances. And then we have 2 open coaching positions that were not filled, that we're going to have to fill. It's for the boys 7-8, and then for the boys 5-6. So both of those would be combined teams between 5th and 6th graders, and then 7th and 8th graders.
Okay. So those are the
And some
required.
8th graders that basically reached back out to Kevin
Yeah.
and myself and said, "Hey, we're not going to play high school soccer. We really like to play." So that's where we
That's
stand.
good work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I would say about all of this, and the people that are on need to know this, that as of right now, based on all the kids that tried out, we are putting ourselves in a position where we're not going to cut a kid from travel soccer. However, this is the big however, we, in certain circumstances, have made the rosters extremely tight, which means coaches are going to be dealing with, player pass, which means that we're going to be asking the coaches and the parents to make it very, very clear that the rosters are being done in this manner so that we don't have to have cuts and kids can play. If we have system-wide issues with kids not showing up and forfeits or whatever it is, a lot of headache, then the following year, Kevin and I both agreed that we would revisit it and we would look at cutting and making appropriate sized teams. So we want to get that message out to the coaches and to the parents and make it well known that there were no cuts this year, but we're counting on everybody to do their part and make a commitment to the team and make sure that they show up to practices and games. So that's just kind of a caveat to it. I think we're in a pretty good place in that regards, but there's still, some moving pieces. A kid saying, "Yeah, I'm rethinking it. I don't want to, I want to play now." But I think we're in a good place, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So we just need 2 more coaches for the boys side.
Yeah.
That's great news, Bob. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. You bet.
As we finish, as in-town registration starts to fill up a little bit more, although we're about 50% of our of last year's piece already, which is good. We'll reach into the grade 3, 4, 5 and the 6, 7, 8 pools in order to see if there are any players who were on the fence and who might, want to rethink their choice, come, later in the summer. And if we can pad a couple of those rosters, we will. We have been successful in the past doing that. Every time we were able to recruit 3, 2, 5, whatever we need. And so we will do that effort as well to help pad some of the rosters that are a little tight. But we have to wait a little longer before we can be more successful with that.
And we need to revisit, I don't recall if it got added or got taken out of the bylaws, that Billerica always had a steadfast rule that once you are in the team in the fall, that no players were moved from one team to another in the spring, unless somebody unless a vacancy became available.
Yeah.
I think that's something we definitely got to visit, especially if we're going to be tight with teams.
It's actually a Middlesex rule, Felix. I looked at it just the other day just to figure out what our abilities were.
Yeah.
And like it limits literally like 3 roster positions total for a team.
Can be moved.
So yeah, and again, there are stipulations as to why and how you can do that. But it is a Middlesex rule. It actually isn't in our bylaws because it's by our governing agency on that.
Got it. Yeah, good to know, because I was previously told that it was not a Middlesex rule. I didn't see anything that I found there that said it was. I probably have to check out if it's age group issue or is it in general.
Yeah, I can pull out the page if you want, but I was looking for it 2 weeks ago, specifically in the spring book of this year. And they actually do mention a very specific piece of it. So whether that's new to Middlesex or not, I found the verbiage because that's how I know that's 3 roster spots. It was very specific as what to do.
Okay. Yeah. Something to keep in mind, because if we start having teams that just have half the kids showing up and it's just not going to be it's going to be an issue to keep them, we might need to add some of those players to another team and get rid of people. And so if we have a team like a U10 team needs 6 on the field, 7?
Yeah, 7v7 for you.
7v7.
Yeah. Great.
So if we're making tight, let's say 10 on each team, but then we know the 4 kids are just not going to be available that spring. Now you have a couple kids that want to play that don't have a place to go. And that's where I don't want to get ourselves into.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
Something we need to revisit.
Yeah. So, hey, the only other thing I was going to mention is the committees got together and we went through, the roster size and the teams. We broke everything out. The next step here is now that the coaches have accepted the positions, we're going to show them the rankings and what the teams look like. And we'll go through a, similar process. It'll be faster because it's grade based and it's like, okay, you only have a 3rd grade, 4th grade, and you can have a mix, right? So, but that's what's coming next. So I think the hope here is that we'll be able to set something up, this week for probably the beginning of next week, have the coaches get all that finalized, and then the coaches will be able to do the notification, get people registered and get things moving. So that should finalize everything so that hopefully we'll be in position here to tell the kids what team they made, that kind of thing. Yeah.
I know that people are asking me, I say it's usually at or shortly after the 4th of July. So when we notify everybody. So
yeah. So that's what we're shooting for. So that's the final step. Candidly, I would love us to set something up Thursday this week. I don't know if that's too soon, but I'd like to, because it really is, because of what we're doing with the grade based, it really is going to be much simpler. It's not like you have you have your 3rd graders or your 5th graders, so it's going to be simpler and it should be a lot faster. Right.
All right. That's good. Simpler and faster is always better for us. Trying to get out of the Stone Age here as fast as we can, but we're getting there slowly. All right. Nothing else with the coaches? Any questions? The coaching selections? Any questions? Any of that? Anybody else from the visitors? Nothing? All right. So we have one item that we need to vote today as a board, and it's that we have, and I'll bring it up, and then Bob can then talk about this. We have 3 playing up. So we had 3 requests for 3 different players to play up from their current grade / level to play up. And that's something we need to discuss as a board. So I'll pass it over to Bob, and then do we want to do vote individual? We probably should vote individually for each
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I think we put here's the particular player, here's the circumstances, share what the parent has requested or whatever information we have, or if any of the board members have, insight into it to share it. And then I think we vote on that player and we move to the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I can actually, Kev, can you display that document that I created, just the Google Doc that has the emails in it? Because it's not allowing me to share my screen. Oh, you're on mute, buddy.
I can faster transfer that ability.
Okay.
There you go. Well,
All right.
it'll take me longer to find the document than to find the button that lets you share.
iPad, whiteboard files, advanced. Interesting. It's not allowing me to share a tab. Files. Let's try this.
That's spoken like a true Google user.
Yeah, right. I'm going to try to get into Google Drive here and see if I can find it here.
All right, now I'll look for it too in case it can't.
Well, I have it, Kev. I just let me see. I definitely have it right here.
Let's see what I got. Hold
On a
on.
different tab.
How
So
about
let
this?
me
You
do
want me
this.
to, Bob, you want me to do it? I have it right.
Yeah, if you have it, you look like you're in the doc there. Yeah. All right, here we go. So this is our first player that we want to talk about. Kevin, if you could maybe make that a little smaller, so we could people can just take a quick read on it before we talk about it. Hopefully everybody can still see that, right? So take 2 minutes just to read it real quick.
Why we lost it? What are we doing?
Yep. Hold on.
He's getting excited.
Wrong stroke key.
I forget that I'm sharing sometimes. Sorry.
So as everybody can read this, we have a fourth grade boy. He ranks towards the top of the tryouts, and his parents have come to us and said, "Hey, listen, because he's at the top, we think he should play up in fifth grade." Now, the caveat to all of this is that even though Billerica is going grade based, so we're going to have a fifth grade team, right? It'll be all fifth graders. They are playing against fifth and sixth graders. So fourth grader going against a fifth and a sixth grader. I'm going to be perfectly candid. I do not know this player myself. So I personally don't feel it's appropriate for me to be voting to let him play up or not to play up, because I don't know the player and I haven't seen him play. So it's difficult for me to say if this is the right thing. So Felix, Kevin, and I had some conversations about this. And if we're really trying to go grade based, there's really two ways to look at this, right? Well, I should say, to me, there's two ways that we should look at all the situations to decide how we want to do this. One is you could really just look at the player itself and say, hey, are they in the right place? Are they challenged? Yes, this player should move up, or no, this player shouldn't. The other way of it is saying, like, look, we're trying to have the kids play together in their grade, because we're trying to create some cohesiveness with the kids, with the coaching, some consistency as they grow and they develop. So you can make an argument that we could take the fourth grade team, if they're super strong, we could put them in the top division, which would be very, very competitive. So there's really two ways to look at this, in my opinion. And I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, to me, there's two ways to look at it. We're consistent with playing the grade, have a stronger team, play in the higher division, the upper division, or no, because the child is so capable that we should push them up in play with the older, bigger, stronger kids, right? And that's more the appropriate way to look at it. And again, I'm not saying that I'm for either way, meaning I'm leading anybody anywhere. That's just my opinion on how we kind of looked at this. So I'm going to stop there, and I don't know if there's any questions at all, but I think the motion on the table here is a motion to allow, I'm going to say Ken to play up in the fifth grade boys, if you will, for the fall and spring travel soccer season. So that's really what we're talking about. So I'll stop right there.
Bob, I have a question to follow up on your two kind of philosophies you were explaining there.
Yeah.
It sounds like one is focused on putting the player where the player's most challenged and benefits their development, and the others keeping them with players of their grade to allow the team to be more successful, right? This kind of mindset of like, if this player stays in this team, then it's going to raise the group and that the team will be more successful versus the individual development being more successful. Is that a fair way to characterize those two philosophies or no?
It isn't. It is, Tristan, because we don't play in Division One in most cases in Billerica.
Okay.
Because we don't typically have the talent to be able to compete in Division One.
Because the team's not
The
there.
team is not as strong. Or
It requires more,
as strong.
requires more than one star player. It requires a team. Of
Yeah, it
strong
requires a
players.
few different players. So,
Right.
Again, you could look at it that way, like, let's push this kid as far as we can and get him up into the fifth grade so that there's a super challenge and they're pushing them really hard. Like, that's great, right? That's one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is if you keep the kids together and they play together cohesively as a unit and they move with the same coaches, that they're actually starting to build a team framework, and that you can challenge them by playing in Division One. So they can be challenged by playing in Division One. It becomes a philosophical kind of thing, right?
Yeah, right. That's kind of what I'm asking. Is it
Yeah.
sounds like it's one philosophy is more focused on what's best for the individual player, while the other is what's focused on how do we get our teams playing in higher divisions. And I think the other point though is I think at least one of the players under consideration has played in a different age group 2 years in a row.
Yeah, let's talk about this player though, right?
I understand.
Take them one at a time, right?
But I think you're also you framed the whole discussion around those philosophies. So right.
Yeah, listen, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, because you could say, Bob, you're dead wrong, and
Bob,
you could be totally right?
You didn't say what you were saying. You just told me there were two different philosophies.
Yeah, well, maybe there's a third way of looking at it, and I'm not looking at it.
Right.
I mean, that doesn't mean that I'm knowing by any means. God, no. I would never profess that. But yeah, so that's generally it. Tristan, you kind of got the idea of it. But the one thing I would just basically reiterate is if you have a team playing in Division One, the competition they are going to play against is going to push them. Mostly those Division One teams are club teams that kids are playing club and they're playing in their town. So it's not like a player would be, hurt from that perspective. But playing devil's advocate, if you only have two players that are that strong and the rest of the team can't really compete in Division One, then maybe the right thing is to push the player forward, right?
Because 10 other players are then essentially
It could be, right?
Outmatched in 1v1s all game or something. I don't know if that's
Right. Well,
maybe that's extreme, but
right. No, but I mean, you can have a group of kids that plays cohesively together and are very skilled, and then you can have two really strong kids and the rest of the kids are much weaker. The team that plays together that's skilled is probably going to win, right? And not that winning is everything, but they're going to play better as a team. I shouldn't say win, but they're going to be more competitive. So again, I don't know this player. I haven't seen this player. So I don't feel comfortable saying that I'm voting for him to move up or not to move up. Like, that's just, to me, I know one of the three that I've seen them play, and I have an opinion, but I don't with this particular player.
So I have a question. This is what we're reading here came from looks like from Kate, who is I would believe to be the parent of the child we're talking about.
Kate is the parent. Kate is the parent. Yes.
And was there a coach's
Yes.
not evaluation, but a recommendation for this player to play up?
Yes.
So you can see it right here, Felix. Fifth grade player group, please find attached letter recommendation.
So the
I
bottom.
believe this is the recommendation.
The second paragraph on is the recommendation.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the way I read it.
Yeah. Yep.
I can answer a couple of questions that both came from the chat and more from a data perspective. So in the eval system and in the eval from the grade 4 players, he was not the top player. That's another player that we'll be voting on in a moment, but he was tied with another player and less than 3 points away from another player. So in the, there are 4 players all within the same sort of range of terms of eval scores, etc., from the tryout window. And it looks like they all played on the same team the year before. So in terms of scoring, this player could be assumed to be a match in terms of development, along with 3 other players that are also in the same bucket before you even start to drop down in the player pool from evals. Like I said, he wasn't number 1. Number 1 was honestly 20 points higher. And then there's 3 players that are with basically the same score. And he is one of them. So in terms of stats, and no, they did not try out with their 5th grade, as Pat Souza asked. They try out with the grade that they're currently in, and that's where he tried out.
That's unfortunate, isn't it? Because then we don't really know how he fits in 5th grade.
Well, no, because really the point is you should try out within the grade you're in, so that either you show whether you fit into that grade or you stand outside of that grade.
And you're saying he ranked 3rd and 20 points below the top.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, well, basically, technically, we had 3 players that were number 2, and there are basically 20 points further from the top player.
Okay, he ranked 2nd, but tied for 2nd with 3. I understand.
Yeah, 3 other players.
Got it.
Kevin, I know you don't want to jump into the other kids, but are the other kids asking for the same request?
Nope. No,
Different grades.
The
All right.
only one that is the one that's 20 points higher.
Okay, so 2 kids could potentially be moving up from the same team.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if all 3 moving up, that could decimate the team. So that's a concern. But anyway, go
At
ahead.
that point, then you start. Well, then that's the slippery slope argument, where it's like, okay, well, if you move those, okay, 1 player is 20 points higher, but now you have 3 players that are basically the exact same score. Do you now say, well, all 3 of them move? Well, then what's the point of having a 4th grade or a 5th grade or a 6th grade team? So that becomes the slippery slope argument as well. And when they move to the next team, are they the bottom of that team versus are they in the top 5 or 6 of a team of 12 or 15? There's, you have all different ways of looking at that type of deal. All I'm saying is, from the evals, from the multiple people, including the revs people, there are 3 people, he is one of them, that basically have the same score. So
when do we get this request?
I'd have to look at the email, Tristan, but it was basically about a month ago. 3 weeks ago, a month ago, they sent it in plenty of time.
So I asked more for the opportunity to see the player. You mentioned that. I think it's a good point, is that if we don't personally know the player and we don't have an opportunity to see them play, that's hard. It's a little bit harder to vote on. We have to go completely on the recommendation, but I guess a month was technically before the season was over, but I wasn't aware of it. And so I'm in a position, like I think several people are, right, where we have to vote on it based on this recommendation only. I did see this player at tryout, so I know that, but that was just because I did tryout evaluations. But.
Okay. Well, I mean, you have a perspective or opinion, because I did not do the tryout.
Yeah, he was faster than anyone else on the field. That's for sure. Like his touch was really strong and almost always with the right power, but not always. There's times where essentially he was super fast and then his speed got the better of him, but it was very effective in that group because being faster than everyone else helps a lot.
Yeah.
That was my perspective. And it sounds like his coach is convinced that he would be challenged well at that level. And I think that in the past, I think that has been one of our metrics. The other times that we've approved these requests, it has been dependent on a strong coach recommendation and not on anything to the effect of convenience for the parent or playing with their friends. Those are the sort of things that have been our prior reasons for denying the requests, because it doesn't fit for player development. But when it's been focused on for the purpose of player development, I think historically I voted for them.
Yeah.
I think that this is, if that's really what they think the player wants, and give them a chance.
Yeah.
I played
So-
against him. I remember him from fall 2020, and yeah, he's a good player.
So,
The team's approach was kind of like give Kenny the ball, get out of the way, and he did what he was supposed to do.
Was that good?
So I definitely, I think he's a good
Oh.
player.
So
Hold
we
on,
do-
Tristan, I just want to correct something. So we did a couple of years ago, we approved 2 players to move up, and we declined a third one that was playing in,
Yep.
in grade 1 that wanted to play with, I'm sorry, grade 2 wanted to play grade 3, 4. And it basically came at the recommendation. I recommended that we let the girl play because I've seen her personally play and believed that she could play with the kids, but the board voted it down.
Excuse me.
So it had nothing to do with playing with friends.
Excuse me.
Just to be clear.
I'm remembering a different instance then, where it was a
No.
request from, so, excuse me, I
Yeah.
misremember that.
So I remember both of them because we have, like Tristan said, we have used the coaches review and a recommendation on this. And I know we have the privilege today that Bob Wamnes is the coach and he's here. He did ask if he could speak on about him, and I think it'll be useful for us to hear from Bob directly.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, one, this is not the exact recommendation letter that I put forward. So this looks like more bullet points from the mom that summed up his past history. Just want to be clear on that. But I did provide a recommendation. I think when he tried out the year before with then 3rd graders, 4th graders, he was one of the kids, maybe, I don't recall Kevin, Bobby having in front of you, maybe like lower tier of it. And in the fall, he was a very challenging 3rd grader, right? And then in spring, as something flipped, where he was one of the few players I could do a double shift. His speed, his energy, his aggressiveness against older players really shined. Now I can teach the skills. Give me a raw talent who wants to get at it. And that's why I provided the recommendation, because I actually enjoyed coaching him then in the spring with that raw energy. Like I said, very few players I can do double shifts, probably 3 on the team today. That double shift to me would be about 16 minutes. I do 8-minute shifts on the 7v7. And he has a lot of aggressiveness for that age. So that was why I just wanted to speak. One, just to clarify, that's not my recommendation, and just throw some points out there.
No. Thank you. So one question, is that in your, to Bob Wamnes directly, in your opinion, we're asking this player to move from, he would be playing with the 4th graders to play up with our 5th and 6th grade teams, right? So he's gonna move up a level.
Yep.
We are going to be having 5th grade. We're going to be having 6th grade teams, but other towns do the same thing we do, but doesn't mean that we always play 5th graders. You're probably going to end up playing in some 6th graders team, all 6th grader teams. Is in your opinion that this player be able to face that challenge and play up against, let's say, 6th graders who are going to be much taller, faster, stronger?
Yeah, it's a great question. And Bob, this might be the 3rd option, which is if you look at based on the kids who I did the tryouts for the future 5th graders, he would fit in that top 10 of that team. But then if you also look at, hey, outside of Billerica, do I think he could play against bigger, stronger kids? Yes, I don't think he sees size. He is one of the most aggressive kids on the field. And now Pat Souza is also coach. He's on the phone as well. And also, I have about 6 or 7 parents from my team here to support one of the other players we're going to talk about, but they also have seen Kenny and can probably attest to his aggressiveness.
Hey, Kevin, can you slide down? I did find Bob's letter. I put it in the documents. If you slide down, I think, there you go. So if people wanted to see Bob's letter, that's what he wrote. So that was my mistake in taking the parent's email and not copying his letter. So I apologize, Bob.
No, thanks, Bob. This is good. I just don't want to be misquoted.
Yeah, no, it's good you corrected. So Pat, you're on the line. Why don't you chime in here if you could?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with everything Bob said. In the fall in coaching Kenny, he was one of the fastest kids on the field, super aggressive, but very raw. And he took a very big leap in going from the fall to the spring. A lot of improved skills, super aggressive on the field. And you're right, he doesn't see size. I don't think he would have any issue hanging with kids that size and that grade. And I think the next level up is what's really going to challenge him as a player going into the next season.
I have a question too, though. Also, we are moving from that player now moves from 77 to 99, so he doubles the size of the field. Again, I understand his speed works very well on that 77 field. And again, I may have seen the player, but I just can't place him. I'm sorry. I did see lots of games, but just drawing a blank at this point. Do you think that going to the doubled size is still going to have the same effectiveness, because you can no longer sprint from end line to end line with 25 steps like it is in 77 right now?
Yeah, that's why I brought the size of the field up, because I think actually keeping him at 77 on the smaller field, smaller roster size on the field is actually going to hold him back a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why I brought up the point of a double shift, where he has the stamina to go long periods of time. And with the bigger field, we also add a couple more players. And if you look at the way I coached my one team last year, we really were more, let's not chase the ball, let's play our positions. And again, we made a huge shift from the fall to the spring where we stopped ball chasing, which also helps the development and challenges the players at the right time.
Yeah. My only comment from player development side is that second year of 77, the time and the space gets compressed on players because everybody's a little fast, everybody's a little quicker, which means that players on the ball have to be better with the ball. Going to the 99 kind of takes some of that away, because now you've doubled the size of the field. So you've gone back to having plenty of time on the ball, even though there are two extra players on the field. It doesn't equate to the same sort of compression of time and space for a player. Not that I'm saying that as a reason to do it, is a thing to think about in terms of the play development of a player. If you never make them play in a tight, compressed space with less and less time, you're always giving them a bigger field with more time. I worry sometimes if we are cheating those kids who don't get 2 years to be able to do that, because you take that away by giving them a bigger field and giving him the space to play. Just another data point to think positive or negatively on this.
Yeah, and
request.
I think if you look at the course of the week, playing time, you're probably playing 25 minutes in a game. Practice time, you have close to 3 hours. So for me, that would go back to the coach to focus and enhance those skills development. Make sure you're having touches in small spaces and doing drills accordingly. It's not just a scrimmage on a 9v9 field. So I think there's more time and emphasis on that practice time to help that development.
Okay, so I'm
I have a
hearing
question
people.
before you go to vote.
Yeah, we're not going to go to vote. That's just my next thing. If anybody had any more questions before we go there,
I do.
go ahead.
When I first read it, I was under the thought that they were asking to move up one level, which means they would be moving up to the boys grade 5, 6. But as I read this and listen, it sounds like he's going to fly up to grade 5 first team. That's more than one level the old way, but in this new world, it could be different than what I was. So I'm just questioning, is that what they're asking for? That he will be moving from grade 3, 4 to our new system, which is single grades, that he would be not going to the boys 5, 6, which is the mixed team, which is the lower team, but would be going up to the regular straight all grade 5. Am I correct or wrong on that assumption?
Well, the way to look at it, I know what you're saying, but I think the clarification is he is currently a fourth grader, correct? who wants to play up a level, who in his case, he'll be moving up to the 5th graders. So it doesn't matter which team he's going to, it's which grade he's going to, right? So he'll be
Yeah.
playing up with the 5th graders. Not jumping up to the 6th. That'll be 2 levels.
Right. Yeah, it is a little confusing, Kath. I know what
Yeah.
you're saying.
It goes 5th grade, you have a 6th grade, and then you have a combined team, which are the lower ranking kids that
Lower
are gonna be on
ranking
that.
of both the 5 and the 6.
Right, they're the
Yeah.
lower ranking, yes.
Yes, Kathy, you're
Okay.
right. There are levels
Yeah.
within each grade, so you are jumping up, let's be honest,
2
Bob, you
levels.
are jumping up, of course you are, and that's
Yes.
fine.
Thank you,
That's
Dave.
fine.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Okay, that was my question of the day. To start.
And listen, I don't know, I know Kenny a little bit, not enough to make a vote, to be honest. However, to be very blunt and maybe to move this thing along, I do trust Bobby. All right, and if Bobby feels strongly enough that he can compete, I mean, this is how it's set up.
Yeah.
Kind of set up the structure to go this way. If we don't know, we go on the basis of the coach's recommendation.
And I think too, like, I think however we go, because we do have options from the fall to the spring to move a limited amount of players, if the board feels that the player should move up or the board feels the player should not move up, we do have the fall to evaluate whether that was the right decision one way or another. And we can make that, I believe that we have the ability to make those changes later on. I don't know if that's what we want to do. I'm just saying we do have some opportunity, I believe, to do some work. I don't know that we want to do that. I'm just saying we may have the opportunity, no matter how we decide.
We
move
have
them
the
up.
ability to, based on player development and coach development or recommendations, to make such movement, because we can make movement for players to move up and players to move down if we think that they're just placing correctly.
Yeah. So,
But that goes the whole. So that is an option to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we, for the sake of time, I don't know. Is there any other comments I need to worry about before we go to the recommendation, put it to a vote? All right. So we went straight to discussion after Bob said it, but we never made a motion to for it.
Motion for discussion?
Yeah. No, we went straight to discussion. We're supposed to make a motion to bring it up, then you discuss, and then you make a motion for the vote.
So I need to make another motion for a vote, Felix?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm making a motion to vote whether Kenny is able to play up for the fall and spring season with the 5th grade boys.
Second,
Who seconded it?
Craig Parker.
Got it. Thank you. All right. So first, abstentions will be myself. I don't get a vote on this. And Bob, right?
Do you want us to do it in the chat, or do you want to go around the horn?
I'll just do it around the horn.
Okay.
Because the same way I always do every vote, abstentions, and then ask, and then people will say yay or nay, and then we'll go from there. So 2 abstention will be me and Bob currently, because you already did, Bob K already did that. So any no's? You hear anything? And yeses.
Yes.
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 So that puts me, let's see what we got.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's currently on the board members, but no problem. So we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, And
Hey, Kevin, why don't you slide down and show them the next one, just so they can start reading off.
so we have total 9 board members. So we have 0 no's, 7 yeses, and 2 abstentions. With that, the motion to allowed, and I apologize about the first name because I could not read it.
It was by Kenny, I think.
By Kenny to the motion to allow Kenny to move up a level has been passed. We're good. So second one, woohoo, we could probably get it done. So we're to go ahead, Bob.
Yep, so this one's for Chase Wamness. Chase is, or the motion is to request to allow Chase to play up with the 5th grade boys, very similar to Kenny. I think the difference here is, Chase was the highest ranked player. Chase played up previously in prior years, and with his club team, he's playing up. You can see some of the notes there. And then Kevin, if you want to slide down, there's a note from NEFC from James David. And then there's also a note here from his current club coach, Derek Mello. So if you want to let them read it or take a look at it, that way they can see it. Or if people are good, then,
So James is the previous coach.
Yes, for NEFC. And then the current club coach has also written a letter as well.
I
Right.
lost it, sorry.
That's right there.
Okay.
Oh,
Sent a
Derek.
text or whatever to Bobby that Bobby shared with us.
I know Derek. Yeah.
So this one's a little different because obviously there's a little bit of a precedence here. But similar situation.
But this is also a player that has moved up, played up before.
Right. Andy is top ranked. So there are some differences. So I don't know if there are any questions about this, folks, or, if there are, obviously, let's talk about it.
Any questions on Chase? Fellow board members.
Just an almost administrative one, I guess. When do we get this request?
When you get what, Tristan?
Similar to what I asked for Kenny, when did we get the request?
It's about the same time, Tristan.
Yeah.
All 3 came in at about the same time, like well in advance. It wasn't anything the parents did. It was USA, or it was me, I guess.
When was the last one? The last request that came in? The last from the new coach? When did that come in?
Oh, this is a recent one. Like it came in, a week or so ago.
But I knew I saw the James ones, but I didn't know he had moved teams, so that's why I was like, hey,
Yeah,
which is fine. Timing there has
it's fine. Bobby had asked me, he moved teams, and I said, yeah, it would make sense to write a letter from his current coach too, and it just supports the position.
Yeah. So
Based on the last vote and the data we had in the last vote, which was less than this, unless anybody has any strong reservations, I think we probably just move to a vote.
first, I want to hear from Bob directly, from Bob Wamness.
Yeah, sure. So I, like Dave, I had a 20-minute speech, but seeing how we set the precedent with Kenny, just wanted to point out that he was moved up previously. He also, the past tryout, when you try out as a 3rd grader with 3rd grader and 4th graders, I believe he was ranked 2nd overall, so surpassed every 4th grader at that time. Obviously, he's moved up at his club level. He's kind of right now on the team. He was a 2nd leading goal scorer, predominantly playing midfield for the one team, and similar to Kenny. So I mean, as Kevin said, I don't want to keep everyone here all night, so I'll wrap it up right now. But yeah.
Okay. And was Pat one of the assistant coaches with you? Or?
Yeah, Pat was one of the coaches, and I also heard rumors on the street that last time players that moved up, there were kind of mumbles and grumbles because hell, it was the first time we did a true unbiased tryout with high school coaches, Wilmington, NEFC, Revs, and Chase kind of paved the way with the data there. So that's why you see majority of my team on the phone today. So I want to thank them for showing the support for Kenny and Chase. But anyone on the phone you can ask, and they can give you their perspective.
Yeah. I just wanted to know who the coaches were for my own benefit. So All right, so we pretty much, like Kevin said, we already set the precedence for the first one and information came in. So Bob already made the motion. So now the motion been made, I just need someone to second it.
Second.
Second.
Who was the first one? Dave, that you?
Yep.
Okay, good by David. All right, so first, Bob K, are you abstaining from this one as well? Or
Yeah, I'll abstain from this one as well.
okay. So 2 abstention, me and Bob. Any no's? No. Yeses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, those are from Kim. So with that, Chase, the voting for change, 2 abstentions, 7 yeses, 0 no's. Chase being allowed to move up a grade level passes.
All right.
And
10% slide down. There we go. Yeah.
and then with a Layla.
Yeah. On this one, Bob, I'll jump in if you want. On this one's actually kind of easy. Biologically, she is of the older grade. Her parents held her back at the start of school. So she is of age and should be in the grade that she's playing at, in addition to her abilities. So this one is slightly different, just general stance on that.
Yeah, I mean, but I can also say I had her. Like, she definitely can play. I don't have any qualms. I can say I've seen her play. I feel more than comfortable in having her play up. And we let her play up already. We already approved that previously. So much like Chase, she was one of the 2 kids that we allowed to play up. So that's there. You got the biological, you got the talent, and you got the precedent of we let her play up last time.
Yeah, like I
I'll
said,
make a motion to have Lila Kent play up a year based on the parent request and biological age.
Second,
Who second that? Is that you,
Bob
Bob?
Kinsella.
Bob K?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so any questions before we go through? All right, so let's put it to a vote. I'm abstaining. Who else?
I'll make a motion to vote on Lila Kent being moved up to next grade level.
So that motion already been made. That's what Kevin did.
Oh, I thought we needed to have a second one to vote.
No, not the vote. Just earlier we didn't do the first part, which is to bring it on to discussion.
Sorry.
We did that one backwards. No
Still haven't figured out these rules.
problem.
4 years.
On your last day, you finally can figure it out.
Still haven't, obviously.
Okay,
And
so
I screwed it up. So I
anybody doing abstentions other than myself?
no.
No, just 1 abstentions. Any no's? I'll take that as a 0. And I should safe to say all the other 8s are yes.
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 Excellent. Perfect. All right, so that takes care of all the players that we had to evaluate evaluations to be players who were moved up. All 3 of those motions passed. Next item on the list is Summer Academy. I was going back and forth. I didn't talk to the rep, but I talked to Sarah, and at the end, she just got booked. She wouldn't be able to do the time and days that I would like to do the academy version of it for the summertime. So I spoke with Ron and I spoke with Jay, and we have us 3 before have run the academy before in the summertime. So I was going to go ahead and ask. So I asked them, they agreed to run the academy with us, and I just have to put all the pieces together of how we want to run it. And I'll be probably spearheading that because I know Bob K, he's going to be busy doing what stuff he has to do over the summer. But other coaches usually volunteer, and I wanted to open it up based on registration to everybody. And based on registration, we'll run 2 groups, 1 for the younger level and 1 for the older groups. So usually we do the 5, 6 and up in one group, and 7, 8, and then the 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the first group. We could change the dynamic depending on what we have for that if we need to. But that the plan is to start it on, we have the field, right, Brian, from July 11th through August.
I haven't officially heard back, but yeah, the application was dropped off and pretty much Dave made it sound like it was a formality just to get the paperwork in.
Yep. Okay. So my goal is either to start the 11th or the week of the 11th or the week of the 18th and run that program for about those 6 to 8 weeks.
All right, get me the details, send me an email and I'll set up the structure.
Yeah. And that's more to just let you guys know that that's what we're going to be running this summer. It'd be low cost. We don't have to cover anything, just to cover the field and probably to cover t-shirts or whatever we can to give to the kids or whatever if we need to do that. But they just show up. We'll have drills for them, and we'll have coaches, all coaches who want to volunteer, show up and volunteer and help us out, help us run it. So you're all welcome to come.
What about goalie stuff?
What was that, Brian?
Like goalie trainings?
If we have enough interest with enough goalies, we can run part of the clinic for goalies and then one side of it, not necessarily getting a specific person to come do the training.
Yeah, okay.
That's something that we got to think about. Do we have enough interest to do that in the fall? To have someone like who can come in and do the goalie training.
Oh, right, okay.
I think we had a survey done to that effect. The travel coaches were asked whether or not it'd be in there, or rather it was within the coaching application. That's where it was.
Okay. Yeah. So more details to come on the summer academy. What we're going to do and I want to get quite a few volunteers, coaches who don't have to be there every day, but it's going to be the ideal is going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days a week in the afternoon, 5 to 7:30 or whichever, depending how we break it out. We'll have the fields and just get them kicking, keep them playing, working on the core moves is my biggest thing I want to push this academy. And then you do core moves, play, core moves, play. That's the plan for all levels. And then once they're there, we can see who needs to be grouped where, so who can get more, who needs more attention, who doesn't. Other than that, any other items, anything that needs to be brought up? Anyone?
Just we got to sit down at some point and start looking at goals.
Yes.
I've got a catalog, and I got a old-fashioned catalog. Apparently, they still do those, and I felt compelled to get myself one. So I have a catalog from Quick Goal. If we want to, talk, well, I mean, I don't think we need to take a lot of time up over here, especially since we haven't done much yet. But if we want to get together and look through the catalog, see what else we have out there for other options and prices.
Yeah, that's what we need to do is have at least 3 options, so we can pick the best match of what we want and need.
Yeah.
So do we need to order in advance of our next meeting? Do you do an email vote on it later, Brian?
We could do that.
Just because if it's going to be a while until, I don't know how long the lead time is. So we'd be sure we have them in time for the fall.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. Quick thing before Kim drops off. I know Kim, hopefully she's still there, or she dropped off. I think she dropped off. Good. I want to say thank you to Kim for her work in the many years that she has helped us out, but she is, her position is up for election. It's one of those positions. I wanted to give her thanks for doing that. I'll reach out to her personally and give her my sincere thanks many times like I had done before. And the other thing is Nora, it has 1 year left in her current position, but she no longer lives in Billerica, and by our bylaws, you need to be a Billerica resident to still be here. So she will be stepping down after today from her role as registrar.
I'll miss you guys.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh, you know where to find
Thank you
me.
for your time and coaching and helping out. And by the way, I love what you did with your kids, your team, with a little
Did you see us
cards
out
that they
there?
got. Yeah, that was really good. So, yeah.
I'll miss you, Nora. Thank you for everything.
I know I'll miss you guys. Yeah.
You know,
Thank you, Nora.
Enjoy your next endeavors.
Yes, it's funny. I'm dropping here and I'm being elected in 2 days. So not really leaving soccer.
Cool.
I have 1 day.
Well, I hope it was as much fun and less crazy than what we do here. So,
Yes.
all right. So, anybody has anything else we need to bring up? Any they want to bring up other than?
Well, Felix, I don't know if I need to do this now or we can do it later, but I talked with Felix and Bob briefly offline. I would like to make some purchases on the travel side of things. One of the things that really has helped me as a coach, and I've seen it done in a bunch of other teams that really work really well, is for every travel player, providing them with 2 pennies that they keep as part of their kit that they bring to every practice, so that a coach can have a player be one of 2 colors or be no color, and the coach doesn't have to be the one who drags around the pennies all over the place. You make the players responsible. It works really well because you can use them for more than just the players wearing the penny. You can use them for tag games and so a bunch of other things as well. So I don't know if we need to
No,
set
that
a
will be a
motion
new
now
item.
to spend less of, so we have them in time, or what do you want to do?
Do you have a timeline of the ordering or anything, or can this because it's a new item, we can bring that up for the next meeting on August 15th? Can it wait till then, or because we would need to have the new board be the one to do it?
The only issue is you wait till August. Now we're fighting with every other sports team on the planet to get pennies. So,
Okay.
and so that's my only concern is,
well, can I just ask, can we just make it part of the kit? Like my basketball team always had reversible, tank tops. Lacrosse has reversible tank tops. So just make it like a uniform consists of socks, shorts, shirt, and a practice reversible penny.
yeah, I was going to get 2 different color pennies just because they're fast and easy to get versus the reversible, but either one, the reversibles cost a little bit more.
When I ran my soccer clinic at the boys club before COVID, I was going to that guy Jack for $10. He was selling me reversible green and white shirts, and I put winter skills and drills, and so it shouldn't be that crazy to get. And you're talking about 1 penny that's reversible versus multiple.
I have a price, like to get 500 pennies, 250 of each color. It's $1,500, $1,545. They're $3.09 each. So I didn't know if we wanted to get ahead of the order so that, because August 15th is going to come, and then the next thing you know, it's going to take us 2 weeks to order it, and next thing you know, it's right. So that's all, like not to exceed $2,000 type of deal, one of those type of votes, and then we can explore our options to be sure that we can get what we want.
Then let's do that then.
All right, I put a motion out to acquire 2 color pennies, however you want to do that, 2 color training bibs for all the travel players, not to exceed $2,000.
Second.
I would get one of those reversibles. So they have one.
Yeah, we have to check.
What do you think, Nora?
The prices. Yeah, it's just the prices. Like the reversibles start at about $10 a whack, where I can get 2 of these for $3 a whack, and then you can have plenty of spares for when the kids lose it or rip it or whatever else.
When they forget it, so the coach is dragging the shirts around.
Exactly.
Ryan, you have a question? Your hand is up. I don't know if you did it on purpose or not.
Me?
Yeah, your hand is up.
No, I'm good. Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay. All right. So you made a motion. So second by Bob. Is that who?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I'll abstain. Any no's? So everybody else is a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And I'll work with Dave and then Craig, who had to drop off, to help
Did we
sort
vote
it.
Craig in, by the way?
Not yet. Oh,
No.
did we? No, we have to do that.
No, we haven't voted
We have
them
to-
yet.
Nope, that's the last item because I want to close this out. We're 10 minutes past the time I wanted to get done by. So Kathy, what positions, how many positions do we have total that were open for this, for election?
I have one question to put
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Is the fields the even year or the odd year? Because in town is even, travel is odd. I know Brian's doing both. He's agreed to do
Ryan's
fields
doing
again.
one. We voted last year at the last AGM to go to one thing. So it's
Yep.
not in town, it's always been just one now, and based on the travel one.
But what year is it under? The travel field, you're saying?
Felix, I think we voted to remove the in-town,
We removed yes, we
We
did.
moved it
And-
in town because we
Right.
combined it into one.
change the.
One position. Last
Into-
year we did it. I will do
Yeah.
one more year of fields, so put it for an odd year.
Put it through the odd year? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positions that are open. We have 3 people that have come forward and they would like 3 of the positions. And so we will be looking at the travel director as Troy. I think it's Combo. Did I say it right, Troy? Oh,
You're muted, Troy.
That's correct. Yeah.
okay, thank you. And
So-
equipment will be Craig Parker, and coach and director Bob Kinsella is staying. So that's what we have at this point. Intramural director is still open. The web/communication director is open, and those 2 are 2 years. And then
It's
for-
open, but it's gonna be filled, just so what you know, because she didn't get her name in on time.
What?
There's
Who-
one person who didn't get
That's
her name in.
interested?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's interested. Just information everybody knows, and that will be coming out as soon as we
Okay.
have it. Go
and
ahead.
then referee director will be a 1 year, fundraiser would be a 1 year, and registrar would be a 1 year. So if we get anyone, they'll be walking into a 1 year. But Troy, Craig, and Bob, I will cast my nice 1 vote for all of you.
Yeah,
And you are now part of the board of Dorica Youth Soccer Associations. Congratulations, welcome.
Yeah.
And
And-
let's have fun.
okay, so, Tristan, thank you very much. I completely forgot, but we're good. So I should say thank you for your service and your
Oh.
time with us. I thought he knocked us out. I was like, no, I forgot to do that. It wasn't that you forget about you. I just don't want you to go. As simple as that. It's gonna be hard to replace you.
You've given many thanks already, Felix. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you,
So-
Tristan.
I must,
the
I
hire.
must say, Tristan did sell me on joining the board by telling me that he was going to be a lifelong board member and that I could always count on him to be on the board. And here we are, just not even 2 years later. And
Brian,
no, thank you. It was a
Brian,
pleasure.
Brian, you can still always count on me, just not the last part of that.
I know.
He's gonna become your assistant field director.
I'll still be very much around. I get to focus more on coaching.
Thank you,
So-
Tristan.
Yep.
Hey, Felix, one quick thing, or 2 quick things, really for Kevin, maybe Bob. Number 1, uniforms for next fall. If you can get me, we need to see who needs new uniforms. So if you can get me the list, I mean, we don't have it yet, obviously, but as soon as we know the teams and the
Yeah, once
coaches.
they register, we'll put it out there with ask if they need new uniform.
And you
so
you know
get
what?
that
the
ASAP.
Yeah, you know what the nice thing is too, though? I don't know if we've considered this or not. Because we incorporated the cost of the kit in the price, honestly, every kid can get a new kit. Because like it's in the cost of the renewal. It's not like they have to buy it separately. I don't know if that makes it simpler or not to just be like, oh, all right, we got 200 and something kids. Here we go, new numbers, whatever. Just to make it easier for people. Just
So you
putting
want
it
to
out
just do
there.
new,
Just putting
get
it
this
out
straight.
there for a consideration. That's all.
so you're suggesting everyone gets a new uniform, every travel kid? Is that what you're suggesting?
It's included in the thing and the kids grow. So, like maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea because it's already included in the fee anyway. So,
Yeah. How many
you
kids
know.
do we have in travel? 200, did you say? I just need to gauge when, and I'll talk to Craig about this too, because we need to schedule it soon enough. Or
Yeah.
order it soon enough.
hold on. 104 plus one, yeah, the usual 230, 240.
All right, 250, let's say. All
Yeah,
right,
there you go.
we'll need to jump on that anyway.
Right.
Yep.
Okay,
So Kathy, if
Yes.
nothing else, I just need to approve on what Kathy just put out there for her vote, then we're done. Anything else before we go? We good?
He's got a few more to list there.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you need a
It wouldn't hurt,
registrar, referee. That's a 1 year open.
You can put in.
well, we'll have to vote those separately.
Yeah, you're gonna have to
That's gonna
do
be, we're gonna vote for those people that we have on the list. on the next
Referee,
meeting.
1 year.
I thought they were all 2 years, Kathy. You kept saying 1 year. I think bylaw
No,
says,
not the ones that aren't up until the referee, the fundraiser, and the registrar.
Oh, you mean
are on
register has 1 year
odd
left.
years.
yeah.
They're on
Register-
odd years.
Felix,
They're 2-year terms with 1 year left if they join now.
Yes, it's a 2-year term, but 1 year left. You're right.
If they join.
So I don't want someone to think, gee, I'm all set for 2 years. No. They
Yeah, no,
have
you
to
come in to
agree.
finish the year that Nora, the
Yes.
registrar left open.
Sometimes you get to do like 3.5 years.
Well, Brian,
Time
we'll
to
keep
get
you
the-
forever.
Brian, we'll make it a real lifetimer.
Hey, now that I'm not coaching anymore,
That's
so
right. You
time
can
in the
come down
world for
every
my
morning.
board position.
Oh, you spelled Nora wrong. Get back there.
So Felix, sorry to bring up another topic, but just to drag out or kind of point out the obvious problem I'm causing with there being an open position. What, does this all just fall on like Kevin to do everything on top of everything else he's doing, like every other role that's open to you and Kevin rather to?
That was the original plan, yes.
I know, I honestly, this is the thing, I feel so guilty, you guys, I don't
You
want.
got
Kevin, I'll
fundraisers
still
too,
be-
Kevin.
Kevin, I'll still have one in the intramural program, so I can help out too.
So,
Tristan, we're all sort of jumping in. I mean, I'm doing like you just said, I did treasurer, I was doing equipment also, I was doing fundraiser and
I know.
COVID, as you
I
know.
know.
I know, hey, you put your
So-
time in, you deserve
1
it.
year.
I'll just jump in and do what we have to do.
yeah, so,
No worries.
for fundraiser, we got someone who's doing fundraising for us to do that Bob talked to. That he wants to do that. He doesn't want nothing to do with having to vote on the board and whatnot. That's something for us to discuss. Communications, as a registrar, we have someone who's gonna come in and take that. We'll vote it on the next meeting.
Why is everything being so secretive? Why can't you announce the names to us? We're a board. We're family.
It's not hidden. It just because of the person who's gonna take on it. It's Brenda Rogers.
Bindra.
Brenda, yes, her. So I've been in communication with her when I found out about Nora, but I couldn't say, hey, she's taking over until Nora's. So yeah, now that Nora's done officially, now she's gonna be the new person coming in. So I've been trying, like Tristan said, what are we doing with all these positions? I am working my ass off trying to find people and begging people to do it. And Tristan been one of the good ones who've been able to get me names that I can go hunt down and get to. I'm trying to get some for communications that Tristan gave me actually. Her name is Jen. I reached out to her. She reached out to me and we're going to have a conversation. So hopefully she'll be the one to take that position. No one yet too willing to take the referee piece. They keep telling me I'm doing too good of a job and I'm now want to start sucking at it so somebody else would take it, but because that's why I took it, because the person who used to do it before me sucked. And now
We're
I'm
still live, by
present.
the way.
Huh?
We're still live, by the way.
I don't care. I didn't give it there.
Okay.
I was trying to drop a name, but no. But the reason why I took over as referee was because we didn't have any referees at one point. We were losing people, but we're still looking for people there. So no secret. It just once we know who's available, I talk to them. When they tell me yes, we get them in. Like with Troy, I was able to reach out to. I found out about Troy. I reached out to him, and we worked. And boom, there he is. He put his name in, and we got him. So that's what we're gonna keep doing. Try to keep going, but I need you guys to keep reaching out, especially our younger people that are coming in with younger kids who can come in, learn the ropes with the board, and keep going. And then that way, because we're not gonna do this forever. Eventually, we gotta pass the torch. there's somebody else who coming in. So, but I'm trying to get us as full as we can. And if that means having to make changes on how the board is run, we might have to. We're one of the few groups, by the way, that has this large of a board in all of Middlesex.
Yeah.
Because we have so many different jobs. But my hardest part is that we have so many board members, but only a few are doing most of the work. So that makes it tough. And then it's like we're being pulled in different directions, trying to cover for everything. So we're trying. And you know, like I said, I hate to lose Tristan because he actually got us good people in and give us good name people I can talk to. And now I got to find someone to replace him. And what's out there, we announced that, hey, position's available, it's open. Nobody wanted to run for it. So that's what we have.
I keep saying, and I've seen this in some of the other things, that unfortunately, the way things are going in many of these places, in many of these situations, we're going to get to the point we're going to have to pay people to do it. And that has pluses and minuses. I feel like it has more minuses and pluses, honestly, because this is supposed to be a homegrown, do it for your town, volunteer for your kids type of deal. And I get people are super busy and life has changed and everything else, but you know, we have 800 players, 800 to 900 players, and we can't get, you know, not even 10, you know, not even 1%. So that's a tough one. You know what I mean? So that tends to be the frustration of, you know, if we can't get coaches for out of 10 names for a pre-K or a K or a first grade team, you're looking for 1 in 10, and you can't even get that. That's a little bit disheartening, and it's going to make things more difficult. Or it's going to mean that we're going to have to look at our fee structure and crank it up so that we can now somehow find ways to either pay people or do something different, because you need people to say, yes, I'd like to help in order to do any of this program. And I'm sure we're not the only sports program or other program in town that has probably struggled with the same. We're just one of the bigger ones. And I think it just exacerbates the problem because we have such a large reach from pre-K all the way to 7th grade with almost 900 players.
Yeah. All right. So with that, I think at this point, we just have to accept Kathy's vote for the new positions for those who re-ran or taking the position, and we're done. Our next meetings will be August 15th.
Can we consider perhaps moving that up a week if people are available, or sometime a little bit sooner than that? I just feel like it gets way too tight when we wait to the 2nd or 3rd week of
We
August.
can do one in July if you want. That's no problem either. Usually we skip July and go August, but we can do it early August.
And maybe I don't know how other people feel, but I know usually we have a whole bunch of stuff where we're like, oh crap, the season's starting, and we need to get approvals or thoughts, et cetera, et cetera.
You
And
want to do it the first day of the month on August or August 1st?
You can do that. I can't do the 8 or 15, so the 1st would be good for me.
We can make it now. Make it August 1st week of the month for the next meeting on August 1st.
yeah, it's probably not the worst idea in the world.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll change it to August 1st.
What time? Because are you guys going to be doing practice things?
Not on Mondays.
Clinic?
Not on Monday.
Not on Monday.
Not on Monday. Okay. Perfect.
So we always do our meeting starting at 8. You guys want to do 8? You want to keep it to 7? 8 seems to work.
I like 8.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah. So August 1st at 8 o'clock will be our first board meeting. Reconvene with a new board. We'll go from there. So we accept Kathy's vote for the new positions. And with that, thank you very much, everybody.